Welcome back to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into Day 8, loops in Python. You know the basics of bossing your computer around, but today, we're talking automation. By the time we wrap up, you're going to know exactly how to make your computer do all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, let's dive into this with a totally tedious, very real problem. Let's say someone asks you to write a program that prints every single number from 1 to 1,000. How are you going to do it? Your first instinct might be to just start typing. Print 1, print 2, print 3. But hold on. Think about the massive, literally mind-numbing effort of typing out 1,000 individual lines of code. I mean, 1,000. Imagine hitting copy-paste and then manually tweaking the digits 1,000 separate times. Think about the endless scrolling, the inevitable typos. What if you accidentally skip, 4, 5, 6? You'd have to comb through a giant wall of text just to find one single missing number. It's an absolute repetition trap. And honestly, computers were literally invented exactly so we wouldn't have to do this kind of grunt work.
Luckily, there's a much better way. Here's our roadmap for today. First, escaping the repetition trap. Second, for loops and range. Third, while loops and nesting. Fourth, mastering iteration control statements. Fifth, real-life loop applications. And finally, avoiding common loop pitfalls. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. Escaping the repetition trap. We really need a hero to save us from all that typing. And here is that hero, loops. Simply put, a loop is a structure that allows a block of code to run repeatedly. Instead of writing 1,000 lines, you write maybe 2 or 3 lines, and you just tell the computer, hey, do this exact thing 1,000 times. Boom. It is the instant, highly satisfying fix to our problem. It automates the repetition, cuts out the manual typing entirely, and keeps your code super clean. All right, Section 2, for loops in range. These are our go-to tools for precise iteration. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific use case for a for loop. It's exactly what you reach for when the number of iterations is known. So back to our 1 to 1,000 problem. We already know the boundary, right? We know it absolutely stops at 1,000. Because we know that exact number right out of the gate, a for loop is the absolute perfect choice for the job. But it does need a little helper to work its magic. And that helper is the range function. This function actually generates the sequences of numbers for your iteration. It's basically the ultimate sidekick to the for loop. You use range to automatically generate those numbers, 1 through 1,000, in the background, and then your for loop simply steps through that sequence, printing them out one by one. It's a brilliantly simple and highly efficient team. Moving right along to Section 3, while loops and nesting. Because, well, what happens when we don't know exactly how many times we need to loop? That's exactly when the while loop steps in. A while loop runs as long as a condition is true, so it operates dynamically based on changing conditions rather than a strict countdown. Think of it like this. Instead of saying run exactly 10 times, a while loop basically says, hey, keep going until I tell you to stop. It's relentless. It'll just keep working over and over until that specific condition is no longer met. So the crucial point is knowing exactly when to use which tool. This direct comparison is actually a classic programming interview question. You use a for loop when the iterations are known, like a fixed list or a specific range. You use a while loop when the code just needs to run while a condition is true, no matter how many times it takes to get there. Lock this distinction into your brain. It's going to make you a much stronger coder. But wait, no way, it gets even better. You can actually have nested loops. This is simply a loop placed inside another loop. Think of a physical clock. The minute hand has to complete a full 60-minute loop before the hour hand clicks forward even one single tick. That's a real-world nested loop. The inner loop finishes its whole cycle for every single step of the outer loop. In Python, we use this to handle complex, multi-layered stuff like grids or tables. Okay, Section 4, mastering iteration control statements. Let's talk about controlling these loops mid-flight. And this brilliantly illustrates the dynamic commands we use to steer our loops. We've got 3 main tools. First is break. This is your emergency break. If a specific condition pops up, break immediately terminates the loop entirely. Next up is continue. Think of this as your fast forward button. Instead of killing the whole loop, continue just skips the rest of the current iteration and jumps directly to the start of the next one. Finally, we have pass. This is basically a silent placeholder that literally does nothing. Use it when Python syntax demands some code, but you haven't written it yet, and you just want the loop to keep chugging along smoothly. All right, Section 5, real-life loop applications. We've talked a lot of syntax, so let's tie this back to the real world. where do we use this stuff? Literally everywhere. Think about attendance systems. They loop through a list of thousands of students to mark who's present. Billing software? It loops through all the items in your shopping cart to calculate your final total. Report generation loops through massive databases to pull stats for a weekly summary. Businesses rely heavily on loops every single day for these crucial repetitive tasks. Without loops, modern software simply couldn't function. Let's move to and see how this builds into an actual mini project, like an interactive number guessing game. Step 1, the program asks for a guess. Step 2, it checks that the condition is true, meaning, did you guess right? Step 3, if it's wrong, we loop right back to step 1. Notice the kind of loop we need here. We have no idea how many guesses it'll take a user to win, so it's a perfect job for a while loop. It keeps looping while the guess is incorrect. Here's another one, a multiplication table generator. Step 1, input a base number, say 5. Step 2, loop through a sequence, like 1 to 10. Step 3, print the multiplied result. Since we know we want to multiply by 1, then 2, all the way exactly to 10, boom! This is the perfect application for a for loop paired up with our range function. In literally just a few lines of code, a loop easily generates a complete, flawlessly formatted multiplication table. And that brings us to section 6, avoiding common loop pitfalls. Time to look at the dark side of iteration. As powerful as our loop heroes are, they can cause some major headaches if used incorrectly. The two biggest culprits: infinite loops and incorrect conditions. An infinite loop happens when you set up a while loop, but its condition never ever becomes false. The computer gets literally trapped in this never-ending cycle, repeating the code infinitely until the program crashes or you step in and manually kill it. This usually happens because of a simple typo, or maybe you just forgot to update a variable. You always have to ensure your loops have a clear escape route. Now it's your turn to get your hands dirty. Your assignment from today's explainer is to write code that generates multiplication tables, and write another script to print only even numbers. You're going to need your loops, your range function, and your understanding of conditions to pull this off. I highly encourage you to open up your Python editor and practically apply this new knowledge. You are going to be amazed at what you can build. Which brings us to a final provocative thought for today, inspired by the source's quiz section. Before you even hit run on your computer, can you perfectly predict the output from your loop programs? Like, can you trace the logic of your for and while loops step by step entirely in your own head? Mastering loops isn't just about memorizing syntax. It's about seeing that automated future before it even happens on the screen. So dive in, write those loops, and take absolute control of your code.